Om Shri Sai Ram Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat Apo Jyotiraso Amrita Brahma Bhurbhuva Suvah Sai Ishwararpanamastu Tada Shiva Hari Shiva Sai Ram and welcome to all three devotees of Sai Sparshan for the 62nd, 63rd online satsang talk. And Swami is blessing us continuously every week, every Saturday, with this opportunity of giving this satsang talk so that some information about Swami we can always share. And today, the Panchangam is Plavanama Samvatsaram, Dakshinayana, Sharadruto, Ashwiji Masa, Krishna Paksha, Vitiya, Tritiya, Tito, Shanivasara, Srivasara time dedicated to the worship of Lord Tirumala Sai Venkateshwara, Hanuman Aditya Anjaneya, Shri Shanishwara Devatas, Navagraha Devatas, and Sakal Devata Swarupa, Shri Bhagavan Sathya Sai Baba and Shri Sai Baba. And the host. The topic for today. Topic for today has been the transition. Transition from Shirdi Sai Avatar to Patti Sai Avatar and various childhood leelas of Swami, the miracles, the visits, the Upadeshas, and letters written by Swami and functions and transformation of people and global spiritual visionary, global centers, and then Bhagavan Sathya Sai Baba's Saptaka of 7 parts starting from today and covering until Swami's birthday next month, same November 23rd and onwards. So it will cover into 7 parts and Swami Sathya Sai, Shirdi Sai, particularly Sathya Sai Saptaha. And last 4 sessions, we had covered about Shirdi Sai Avataras, various kachas, and the Satcharitra. Now we are following it, and therefore, just before we start today's topic, we will just remind about the events coming. And 20th October was the Avatar Declaration Day, and that was followed by now. The Avatar Declaration Day today we will cover in the first session until the Sai Avatar Declaration Day. And then in the next sessions, we will cover that's next week is Diwali functions. The happy Diwali to everyone. And November 13th, 14th are the global Akhand Bhajans. And November 18th to 23rd, the Tatsavam starts on 18th at Prashantilayam, followed up to 23rd, Swami's birthday. And Swami's birthday is going to be conducted on November 23rd. That is the 96th anniversary of Swami, and a lot of preparations are being done for that. And let us pray Swami to empower us to do his continuous Namasmarana and do the Satchintan all through. And we will start today's the part 1. The transition point of view, and as we have known in Swami's Shirdi Sai Baba's stories that we read, that when Shirdi Sai Baba Samadhi took place on 15th October 1918, he had told some of his very confident devotees that he will be again reincarnating after 8 years. And we'll just go to that little part of that and then come back again to continue with Swami's story. And Swami had said that I always manifest myself whenever Dharma is on its decline and Adharma is on the rise. In the present Kali Yuga, Adharma is flourishing, attracted by the Western culture. Bhartiyas are giving up their own divine and eternal culture, becoming slaves to the 6 vices. They are behaving like animals. And hence, during such a calamity, the Lord incarnated Sai Baba Shirdi for the elevation of the world and Dharma. As a Daivam Manusha Rupena, Lord came in a human form, first in the form of Shirdi Sai Avatar in Kali Yuga, and Shirdi became the stage for his mission of restoration of Dharma. And during the Puranic age, Lord Shiva gave boons to sage Bharadwaja. As a result of this, Lord incarnated Shirdi Baba, began restoration of Dharma, and left his mortal coil on 15th October 1918 at 2:30 p.m. and attained the Maha Samadhi. And just before that, he had told that a devotee close to him, and also one person called Gali Sharda Devi, and then told her that he would come back after 8 years and that she would enjoy his proximity again. And that Gali Sharda Devi later became a devotee of Satsai Baba, also came to Prashanti Nilayam and stayed with Swami. And as Pedda Swami used to call her as Pedda and she later came to Prashanti Nilayam and stayed with Swami. And another one, Mr. Dikshit, he was Hari Sitaram Dikshit, H.S. Dikshit. And he had also said, Dikshit, 8 years after leaving my body, I'll come again. And Dikshit misunderstood this and wrote down in his diary that he would come back as a lad of 8 years. But instead of saying that he'll be born again after 8 years. And therefore, this is what later Swami corrected him when he met him again in Prashanti Nilayam and say, Hari Sitaram Dikshit, H.S. Dikshit, also was a devotee of both Shirdi Sai Baba and Satya Sai Baba. And from these accounts, that we can get the confirmation that Shirdi Sai Baba, as per his declaration, he took birth as Satya Sai Baba in Puttaparthi on November 23rd, 1926. And therefore, this is the starting point of today's topic. And the various aspects today, we will go up to the grand declaration of Swami's avatarhood. And that we will try to cover today in the topic. And then later in the next 6 satsang sessions, we'll try to cover up different facets of Swami's stories and avatarhood as taken from Satyam Shivam Sundaram. And now, Swami had clearly said what are the actual requisites of an avatar, and also why avatar takes place, and what happens in those avatars, and what should happen. And therefore, here are just a few kind of messages that Swami has given. And he has said, as we know, in 1940, October 20th, he declared he was the Shirdi Sai Baba. And therefore, since he was Satyanarayana Raju, and he became Satya Sai Baba. And therefore, this has been even given in the various Nadi texts. And the majesty of this incarnation is mentioned in detail in Shuklanadi, Bhrigunadi, Brahmanadi, and such Nadi texts. And also in the Mahabharata, it is mentioned about the advent of Baba. When the Pandavas went in exile, says Markandeya came to them and related them what Lord Vishnu had told them. That Lord Vishnu, who is the organizer of this entire creation, will manifest himself in the Kali Yuga, when the adharma flourishes, in order to restore dharma and establish the golden age, to establish this peace and protect morality in a form which is beyond our imagination. He manifests himself in a human family, in the Kali Yuga, which is full of sins. He incarnates in a red form in the southern part of India, even in as early as in the Mahabharata age. This has been told by Sri Vedavyasa. This incarnation will have great powers and wisdom. All worldly things required for the accomplishment of this divine task are materialized at his own will. He'll be able to create anything out of just sankalpa. He doesn't have to go through any of the process of siddhis, because he is a siddhi swarupa himself. For him, no other siddhis has to be either learned or accumulated. He is the Siddhi Purusha. All siddhis are just latent in him and inherited in him. And therefore, that will give him the power of creation of anything that is required. And therefore, he will move around the whole world. People will follow him and attain peace and prosperity. People will once again participate in religious activities. Temples and centers which teach about Brahma will be seen all over. Ashramas will be filled with truthful people. More and more young people will come and stay at Swami's centers. And kings will rule their kingdoms in righteous manner. His incarnation will become very famous. Just as to mention about Baba's incarnation in the Bible. In the Bible also, in the 19th chapter, verses 11, 12, 13 to 15, and it has been mentioned. Zoroaster, founder of Zoroastrianism, also is mentioned that the fully empowered incarnation name, Rasti, Rasti means truth or Satya, would come on earth. Prophet Muhammad also, founder of the Islam religion, has mentioned about this. And 700 years after his demise, his disciples got his discourses published into 25 volumes under the title Ocean of Light. And this is Prophet Muhammad has also mentioned that in the 14th edition, that the great teacher who was promised as an advisor, he will be born again. And once a man asked Muhammad, "Are you Lord of the universe?" Muhammad replied, "No, not me, but those who come down from above, as God's messengers are not as powerful as he is. He alone is the Lord of the universe. The prophets who have come so far are not as powerful as God himself, who is going to be taking avatar as Satyasai Baba. As they had no powers, they were killed by the people. But no power can kill or win over this new master who is going to be born." His disciples questioned him, "How can one recognize this great guru when he is born?" Muhammad replied, "He will be the Lord of the universe. He will be the Lord of time, the Kalatita, Gunatita, supreme being, essential essence of divinity on earth, God who advises through conversations. And he'll be talking to people, giving interviews, giving darshans, person. And do not be deceived by people who declare that they are the master of the world. If you want to recognize him, remember these features. He will have a mole on his left cheek. Such Sai Baba has that. He will have a lot of hair, curly hair. He will have a broad forehead, which is puffed up. He will have a little nose, bulging in the center. He will have a gap in between front teeth and the upper row. He will have no beard. His clothes will appear like flame color. His face will appear like copper, sometimes and sometimes like gold. Sometimes appears black and at other times shines like the moon. His body will be small with big stomach. His feet will resemble those of a young woman. By birth, he will know the teachings of all religion. He will have the knowledge of the world and the science right from the time when he is taken back. Ask God for anything and he shall give it to you. All the wealth of the world will be at his feet. He will give to everyone gifts that are light in weight. He will move amongst the devotees and touch their heads with his hands and do this Persian and Ashirvada. Every heart that sees him will rejoice, and he will wear two clothes. His devotees will look at him, stretching their necks to have a glimpse of him. He will live for 95 to 96 years on this earth, and his Marana and worship will be done for hundreds of years later. In the last 20 years, he will become the emperor of the entire world. The entire world will worship him as Satyasai Baba, Bhagavan Satyasai Baba. By this time, the two-thirds of the population will believe in him. Muslims will come to know little later about him and start worshipping him. His devotees will wear vibhuti and kumkum. At that time, you will try to reach him out, but in vain. He will live on a mountain-like place. His devotees will gather under a tree, starting with. His building will be square-shaped. He will bestow wisdom to the world and bring peace to it. He will take out things from his hands and mouth, the lingams, on the Lingodbhava day of Shivratri. During this time, you will also be spending a lot of money on masjids, and none of you will go to worship him. You will realize it that only later. You will have the Quran bound beautifully, but will be unable to comprehend its meaning. He, being the Lord of the universe, will teach the truth. And this is what had appeared in that chapter by the Prophet Muhammad. In 300 indications are given like this. And then Aurobindo Maharshi also had eulogized this incarnation. This Aurobindo Maharshi, about whom he had a session some time back, with infinite yogic power, entered into absolute solitude and performed severe sadhana from 1923 to 1926, praying to the Lord to incarnate for the uplift of the world. And this will give, this the will of great souls will never be wasted, like Aurobindo also had prophecy. On 24th of November 1926, one day after Swami was born, he came out of his penance, Sri Aurobindo and Ramana Maharshi, and also called a meeting and said, "Lord Krishna descended on earth yesterday. This infinite divine power will divert human feelings towards the para, and he shall light the divine infinite light in every heart. People throughout the world can listen to his divine voice from all the corners. Everyone rejoiced listening to these words. Aurobindo and also Ramana Maharshi had prophesied about this, and clearly in the autobiography. That day was declared as Vijayashami of his ashram life. And similarly, he said, "My penance has borne fruit. In order to fulfill my desire, God has descended now. Now I have nothing else to do. I'll be leaving from this world. He handed over all the responsibilities of ashram to a foreign lady who was later called Mother or Mata at Pondicherry. He took up the oath of silence and left his mortal coil on 24 December 1950. Thus, many saints, yogis, and great souls have eulogized the glory of this avatar of Swami. Ignorant people cannot realize him, unable to realize Baba's nature, getting depraved with feelings of differences, ego and jealousy. They think that their path is the best. Giving up such bad habits, developing true faith, and by visiting the Lord, may all attain happiness in this world and the one above have and above and have all desires satisfied. And this is what Shirdi Sai to Satya Sai as a transformation. As a result of this third boon given to Sage Bharadwaja by Lord Shiva, Baba is to manifest again at a place called Gunaparthi near Mandya, in Mandya district in Karnataka. The forum will be known as Prema Sai. He is going to manifest it it's already been shown by him. He gave a photograph of this incarnation to a devotee called Mr. Hislop. He then Shirdi Sai Baba is the Sat Sai Baba of today. Sat Sai Baba of today will be the Prema Sai Baba of tomorrow. Many and may all the people comprehend the secrets of these avatars, give up all doubts and have the darshan of Bhagavan Shri Sat Sai Baba and be liberated. Have the darshan of Shirdi Sai, of the past at Shirdi and now at Parthi, Puttaparthi, and be redeemed and be redeemed. Know that the darshan of Lord Sai confers liberation and hence achieve success by having darshan, sparshan, sambhashan with Swami Sat Sai Baba. And above, this is the prelude for the great drama, the cosmic drama to take place for the birth and the avatarhood of our Swami. And we will just go back into some of the aspects of that. And just when Swami's avatar was to take place, this place was Puttaparthi because Swami prepares the ground, like many a time for many events. First, there is a survey, renaissance of the area, and then the people who had to work with them, and the people who are sent in advance as an advance party. They same thing what we follow in our management event, same thing God had prepared the ground for Swami to descend. And for this Puttaparthi, it also was called Gollapalli and also called Valmikipura. And because of the Valmikas, that means a lot of it was a lot of snakes were around that area. And like it same thing in the our Venkateshwara Mahatme, we study in the Tirupati, and for the Venkatesha also was going and drinking the milk from the cows. And similarly, when it was about to be hit, and then the shapa was given to them, or the curse was given to them. Similarly, here this Valmikipura also had little bit of a curse that let it be full of snakes. And until Swami takes birth, and afterwards it will become venom free. And about the river Chitravati. Chitravati was again blessed to be like Yamuna river near the Mathura Vrindavan, where our Krishna, Bhagavan, was dancing and singing songs and playing with the Gopikas and all the devotees in the Yamuna banks. Similarly, Chitravati became the Yamuna, and the Vrindavan and the Mathura became relived into memory with the Puttaparthi and Prashanti Nilayam. And similarly, Sri Venugopala Krishna Swami statue or temple was built by the Ratnakaram Raju, and particularly Kondam Raju, the grandfather of our Swami, had built a temple for Sri Venugopala Swami and also Satyabhama, the consort of Krishna. And that's why it also called Satyamma temple, and very kind of important temple in Puttaparthi. And Ratnakaram Raju, that Vamsha, he was from the Venkavaduta, and then also they were called Paramahamsa, and they were great scholars in their kind of lineage. And Sri Kondamaraju, the grandfather, got a temple built for Satyabhama and Satyamma after a dream came to him and prompted him to build a temple there of both Satyabhama and also of Sri Venugopal Swami. And then Ramanama and the Ramayana Parayana was the regular chore of Sri Kondamaraju in the house. And they were reciting this continuously every day, like Ramayana Parayanam was being done. And that's how Sai Rama was born in their house. And then they used to, Kondamaraju used to talk about Ramayana, tell stories about from Ramayana,